You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Thursday. Hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are. Having a look at the markets, I can understand if you're in the altcoins right now. This is definitely a lot of red, okay? We had one of the craziest 24 hours I've seen in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in quite a long time. However, it is a little bit refreshing in a way to kind of see that volatility, to see the markets move, the markets really come to life again, right? But it is a little unfortunate for the altcoins. So I want to go into what caused this pump, why we're seeing the subsequent dump. Are we going to go any lower? Are we going to potentially go sideways? I want to touch on the altcoins, see if they do have a potential chance of recovering from this, which, you know, most of the time they do, but let's discuss. Also, where the money was coming from specifically. And yeah, if that sounds good, guys, we'll definitely hop in. Unfortunately, you have green days, you have red days. This is just how the market goes. But if you are new to the Crypto Zombie channel and you're not subscribed yet, well, what are you waiting for? We do this every single day, okay? Now, the one thing I do want to point out was yesterday we had the Fear and Greed Index up to 95. Some people don't take this thing very seriously. I always take it with a grain of salt myself, but you could see the highest we've ever seen, and we did have that subsequent dump, right? Now, we are sitting at 92. Let me give it that's still pretty high. That's still pretty high, guys. So, but having a look at the markets, let's give it a quick refresh live. So, Bitcoin dominance actually pulled back 0.3%, so that's interesting. But as you can see, Bitcoin takes a 5% dump, and all the other coins are taking an even bigger dump on top of that. So definitely not a good day in the markets. Obviously, if we switch to the Bitcoin comparative, it's even worse. Now, we do have some coins that are up today. For example, Chainlink is pumping. Now, Chainlink is pumping on the news that came out from Coinbase, right? You also have XMAX. I've never heard of that coin before. Wow, 9.2 million volume. That's interesting. Horizon, Augur, Huobi, Metaverse, and that's it. Then we go into stable coins. So yeah, that's basically it for the gains today, guys. So having a look at what I wanted to point out though was, even though we did have Bitcoin dominance pull back about 0.3%, it has gone up a lot. As you could see, on June 20th, we were sitting at around 57.2%, whereas today we're around, well, I did refresh it live, but we're around 62.6%. So Bitcoin dominance is still increasing. This is not a good sign for the altcoins. We know this, but the good thing is that we've actually had $5.7 billion worth of real 24-hour volume. This is good. This is healthy, okay? So this is something very positive. You know, this isn't like you're not seeing the wash trading. This is actually real volume, real trading happening, right? Now, having a look over at here, you do see a very interesting chart right now. Very mixed markets, not really sure what to do. We have neutral over on Binance, neutral over on Bitfinex. We have a buy over on Bithum, and we have a sell on Bitflyer. So obviously the markets are just as confused as probably most people watching right now, trying to figure out where these markets are going. You could see yesterday we were high on the longs. Today we've switched over to the shorts. So it looks like people are banking on now making money while shorting Bitcoin. As you guys know, you can make money if you long or short. You know, we do have Bybit as an opportunity for margin trading. So if the altcoins aren't working out, that is an opportunity. I do have a tutorial on that as well. You guys could check that out. I will drop that above. But having a look at what is going on right here, you'll notice that we were actually supported by this trend. So that was actually something pretty good. First, we came down and we tried to touch this previous, wasn't really resistance, but it was that $11,700 level we were looking to break out. And once we fell below, well, we were supported by this trend that started back on June 21st. So currently that is good news. As you can see right here, we were supported. We fell back down into this channel. We wicked back up, and currently we do find ourselves now sort of in this wedge. Now, I'm not saying we're forming a wedge, but we are in the zone right here. Obviously, we had this downwards pressure as soon as we dumped. Now, you can see, look, we were supported originally by this ascending, broadening channel that we had. We had 1, 2, okay, and then we went back up, obviously touched it, but this was some pretty intense selling pressure, came back down, and we fell below, but we didn't stay there long, and now we find ourselves back up in the channel. However, if you do notice, we are coming to a critical point. Yeah, very soon. See, this is the 30-minute chart. So probably by the time I put this video out, we'll have come to the end of this and we'll have some type of movement within this channel, right? Now, you can see right here, we dipped all the way down into the EMA ribbon, but look, now we're sitting above it. So actually, the EMA ribbon has been providing support. You can see we're sitting above the 20. We touched it once. We came down here, almost touched it, fell into the ribbon and pulled ourselves back up. So currently, we are being supported by the ribbon. That is good. And I do want to point out one thing. If you're all about closing the, CME gaps, well, we actually closed a gap. We closed the gap that we had back here when we hopped up on June 25th, and we have closed that gap. So that is a good thing. I mean, we still have these 3 gaps we didn't close. So worst case scenario, are we going down to 7,186? It is still possible. I don't want to be the bear. I'm not bearish. You guys know I'm full on bull with this market, but there is that potential chance still for the correction. However, I do want to point out from top to bottom, if we were to come down, that would be about a 50% correction. That would be pretty insane. We have seen 50% corrections in the market before. For example, back in 2017, when we had the China FUD, the entire market had a flash crash of 50%, but we were back on track within a few weeks. So actually, I think shorter than that. These markets do move pretty fast. As you could see, yesterday alone was pretty incredible. But yeah, I mean, guys, we're still up massively. Even with the dump that we had yesterday, all this is really providing is an opportunity to dollar cost average, potentially buy some cheaper Bitcoin, right? I mean, realistically speaking, you don't want this thing going straight up. As much as you think you do, you don't, because think about it. We can only get so much money so fast. If this thing was to be 20K tomorrow, well, I mean, I personally would be upset. I would still like to accumulate some more Bitcoin before we get to the all-time high. Not too sure about you, but I do want to just point out a very simple trend, nothing complicated about this, just very simple. And this is a trend that we sort of started right around April 25th and 26th. And you can see that it acted as resistance right here until we had this breakout on May 10th, where after that, it actually became the support. Okay, then we fell down below it. Once again, it became resistance. And once we broke through, well, we don't know yet, but it could possibly become support, okay? It seems to be a very critical line, very important. So there's a potential chance we could come down here. If we were to fall straight down today, that would put us down to about $10,400. Do I think we're going to go that low today? No, not necessarily, but I do believe that we could, catch this trend again. So if that's the case, then that still puts us in nice, healthy, upwards trajectory, and this is just a healthy correction, which I personally believe it is. So having a look once again at the levels. So we pulled down below this $11,700 level this morning, and we found ourselves back up above it again. So now we are stuck between this potential support of 11,700 and resistance of 12,700. Now, we don't have really major resistance there, right? Because we've only just broken through it, but we'll have to see. So those are the levels that we're keeping our eyes on. And the final is around the 14,800. We have another at 17,360. And finally, we have our 20K top. So that is what I wanted to talk about. But having a look at the super guppy, guys, we are still full on green. So the trend is your friend until the end. And we are not at the end of the trend. Okay, so once we do break the trend, once we do fall below some of these key levels, and if we start putting in, some lower lows on the lower time frames potentially, or mid time frames, I should say, well, then I will be worried. But currently, we are still in what I believe to be still bullish territory. So until we have something major happen, a 50% crash or something, then I'll change my tune. But right now, this is just healthy market movement. And what you're seeing is whales potentially just taking profits, okay? But guys, obviously, we're full on bull market because Grant Cardone is offering $1 million to Satoshi Nakamoto to come out from hiding and speak at his 10X growth conference. Although, do you really think that $1 million is enough to bribe Satoshi? Come on, guys. He owns like 1 million Bitcoin. I don't think, besides, I personally believe that Satoshi is dead. I have a opinion about who it is. If you guys know, You've obviously been following this channel for quite some time. But yeah, so that being said, that's just a joke. But I do want to move on. Before I do, super quick, I just want to remind you guys, because at the time of making this video, there's only 6 hours left. So unfortunately, some of you are going to see this video and it's going to be over with. Sorry guys, but I've been telling you about this for at least a month on the channel. So they're having the Unstoppable Domains auction phase. Now you can see right here, 10,000 is the cap. That doesn't mean they're going to sell for $10,000. That's just, that's the highest bid they'll go for. So like if you did want to buy one for 10,000, you could, but you don't have to. So you can see right here, obviously they have Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain, insurance, all of these, Zill, bank, etc. So these are all the premium domains. So basically it says you have to sign up, buy a domain that you like, click buy now, answer a trivia question so that they know that you're human, and you have 30 minutes and you can make your payment with either Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, or Bitcoin Cash. So that is basically that right here. Now this is phase 1. Phase 2, you're going to only be able to purchase these domains using Zilliqa. And for anyone new to the channel, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is Unstoppable Domains. It's basically human readable crypto address names. For example, they use Emily.Zil. So essentially you would have one domain, Emily.Zil, for example, and you would tell somebody to send any crypto there, whether it be Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Zilliqa, right? And it would just be one address. You just tell them to send it there, and then it'll figure it out and it'll put it to whatever address that you have it assigned to. And then also they do have their domain services, which are coming out as well very soon. So if you want to get involved in that, I do have a link below. It is a referral link, guys, so obviously it helps out the channel. You don't have to use it, but I do appreciate it, guys. Now, moving on to what is happening. We had this major dump. Now, this is over on Coinbase. Now, some people are saying there may have been some foul play. They're not really sure what happened. We had a lot of different exchanges that went down. We had Coinbase go down. We had Binance go down for a little bit. Robinhood was down for a little bit as well, right? So also having a look over here, you see that there was a Bitcoin bull that moved 8,884 Bitcoin, which was about $101.5 at the time, from an unknown wallet to Coinbase. So was this the person that was selling? Well, we don't actually know because it all happened at once, right? You had the website going down, you had the price crashing, so it was definitely quite fishy. As you can see right here, Coinbase temporarily went out of service and Bitcoin loses $1,000 in value. So it was definitely interesting how this all sort of happened around the same time, right? Now, I want to talk about where this money is coming from, though. Why are we seeing this pump in the first place? Well, we have decided essentially that it's not really the retail money just yet. In fact, it's still money that was either within crypto with these investors that were just sort of sitting on the sidelines waiting to get in, or as you could see over here, it is institutional. You could see Grayscale, they did an update saying holdings per share, net assets under management, and digital assets per share for our investment products. Total assets under management are now $3 billion. And you can see right here, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust alone is $12.3 right now. So that's quite a premium that you're seeing on that, right? So people are definitely having some interest in that. You can see, in fact, they reported in May that hedge funds went on a Bitcoin buying spree. I told you these guys were accumulating. In the first quarter of 2019, you had hedge fund inflows into Grayscale's products shot up 24 million as compared to just 1 million in Q4 of 2018. They also added that 56% of its total investments during the quarter were driven by hedge fund inflows, leading to a 40% quarter-over-quarter jump in the firm's total inflows. And we spoke about this yesterday on the money flow chart for the past 24 hours. And you can see right here with Tether, you had about 6.3 billion flowing into Bitcoin, right? So that was money that was already in crypto. Whereas if we go into fresh money, as in US dollars coming fresh into the scene, we have only 1.89. So this is telling me that this is not retail driven. This is institution, and this is investors that have been in the space that have just been waiting for an opportunity, right? And the other thing I want to point out, and this is where the conspiracy comes in, is who are the people behind this? Is it Bitfinex? Is it Tether? Because if we have a look over here, look, starting right around, and I mean, it's so crazy because we had that first pump. It was like at the end of April 1st, April 2nd, right? And look right here, as soon as that happened, we've had Tether just printing and printing and printing and printing and printing. So is this Tether that's being printed responsible for this Bitcoin rally? I would say it's at least partially for sure, because think about it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with this tether that you're printing? You're going to buy Bitcoin with it, right? So that's something that I just wanted to point out. Also, having a look at basically what Matty Greenspan was saying over here at Block TV, he basically agrees as well. You could see, I'll basically play for you what Matty had to say.
Pretty much all of this, from the way I see it, has been industry insiders who are just waiting for that next bull market and feel that it's finally arrived. The question is, what'll push it beyond that 20K is if somebody else picks up that baton and pumps fresh money into the market.
I suppose
So you could see he's even of that opinion as well, right? Now, what are some other factors, though, that are really helping Bitcoin that's not institutional, not retail, has nothing to do with the halvening event, has nothing to do with any technicals, right? Well, we have some serious fundamentals. As you can see right here, weakening dollar. Iran sanctions could push Bitcoin and gold to new highs. I'm not going to go into this article, but I think you can basically tell by the title what this is about. You're also seeing things like China's state-run media agency reports Bitcoin is a safe haven in a rocky world. And they ask the question, is China using Bitcoin to hedge against Trump's trade tariffs? Well, you can see over here that United States Federal Reserve policies and a looming interest rate cut may be linked also to the recent meteoric rise of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market, although recently not so much the altcoins, basically just Bitcoin. Now, this is according to Deutsche Bank executive Jim Reed. He said that alternative currencies start to become a lot more alluring to investors when uncertain policy changes are on the horizon. So if central banks are going to be this aggressive, then alternative currencies do start to become a bit more attractive. So you could see it's not just one thing specifically that's causing this interest in Bitcoin. It is a whirlwind. It is a perfect storm. You know, we have potential impending economic crisis. We have all of this going on with central banks being aggressive. You know, we have these situations with weakening dollars. You have sanctions, right? You also have institutional investors getting interest and interested in it. And also, guys, don't forget, we have Bakkt, right? The firm is now preparing to start beta testing on the 22nd of July. Hopefully they don't get pushed back again. But even if they do, we have Ledger X, right? They just got approval from the CFTC and they're from New York. So we don't even really have these guys in yet. We have some institutional money. We have the institutional money that was already invested in crypto, but there's still a brand new wave of money not even coming in yet. And think about it. If you're going to want the price to do well. If all these guys are coming in on the 22nd and Bitcoin just instantly crashes, well, that's going to leave a pretty bad taste in their mouth, right? And what's more, you have a number of reports that have been circulating about Bakkt and the development of something called Bakkt Pay, which is a correlated wallet for digital assets. So basically, you might be able to use this Bakkt Pay to pay for things at different places, right? Almost like an Apple Pay, Google Pay type thing like that. So that is definitely pretty impressive. Now, obviously having a look and talking about what is going on with the altcoins. Well, basically, in a nutshell, I'm just going to really just tell you what happens with these cycles. So what happens is Bitcoin tends to lead, right? Bitcoin outperforms everything. Once Bitcoin now right now, Bitcoin is way too volatile for the altcoins to really have their moment. But once Bitcoin either has a slow and steady decline, not like this dump like we're seeing right now where we're going crazy, just like a nice steady like this, right? Or we have Bitcoin start to go sideways for a little bit where it just chills out, like sort of like one of these accumulation periods where we had from May 11th right before June 14th where we had that crazy pop off. Then you will start to see the altcoins accumulate. Now, here's the other thing I wanted to mention. When the retail money does eventually come in, which it may be around 20K potentially, you're going to notice that a lot of people are going to look at Bitcoin and they're going to say, well, in order for me to double my money, Bitcoin has to go to 22,000 because it's almost currently at 12. So 24,000. Wow, that's a lot. But with one of these altcoins with these low caps, I could double, triple my money, right? Because it's only a $5 million cap. So you're going to start seeing people gamble with the altcoins again. And on top of that, you're going to see some of the whales as well. And how it usually trickles down, it goes from the higher altcoins. So you usually see things like, the top 25, top 50 pump first, and then it trickles down into the second, third, fourth page altcoins, into those altcoin gems, right? So that's basically the situation moving forward. That's my opinion. It could change. I mean, that's what we were looking at in 2017, but we do know that this year it is a very different monster. So we will be keeping our eyes on that moving forward. Speaking of altcoins though, Chainlink doing quite well. They've had the announcement that they're going to be launched on Coinbase Pro. We also have Ripple saying that they've joined forces with regtech firm CoinFirm. Now this is interesting. So the purpose of this partnership is to make XRP compliant with the new FATF requirements. So it says that CoinFirm, which is one of the leading providers of anti-AML and KYC solutions on the market, they say they will not reveal the identities of particular XRP holders. Instead, it will detect suspicious addresses that are linked to cryptocurrency exchanges without mandatory verification or ventures that operate from the countries that defy FATF rules. One example that they give is Iran. So based on how risky a certain address is, it will be assigned a score from 0 to 99, from the lowest to the highest probability of money laundering. CoinFirm will also detect specific tools that are used for laundering crypto, such as coin mixing and clustering. So this is kind of interesting. What does everybody think about this? What's interesting also is they mentioned coin mixing and clustering. Now I know this is an article related to XRP, but if you use ledgers generate new addresses every single time, and then they send those. They take them from all the addresses and put them into one. So I wonder if that will be considered a red flag. I mean, obviously I'm talking about Bitcoin in that sense, but this is specifically XRP. But let me know what you guys think about that moving forward. We also have Opera. They came out. They say for the first time ever, iOS users can start using Web3 applications and manage their crypto directly in their browsers. So this is cool for all of my Apple fans out there. And I also want to talk about Unibright and Zulk Engineering. They've launched Carbanara. So basically it's Coinpensator is a blockchain-related open source project established by, obviously, Unibright and Zulk Engineering. The main goal of the project is to raise awareness of the energy consumption of public blockchains. We've obviously heard a lot about, proof of work and all this other stuff with energy uses. They say it's not an easy task to give an exact answer to how much energy did my blockchain transaction consume, as the calculation is dependent on a large number of parameters, of which the majority can only be estimated. But they say that Unibright and Zulk will continue supervising the project and its enhancement, yet the long-term benefit of Carbanara will be dependent on the participation of willing individuals, research groups, partners, portals, and companies. But guys, like I always say, when in doubt, zoom out. You can clearly see that the trend overall is your friend. So yes, we may potentially have some rocky times moving forward. Bitcoin is very volatile. It's very young. It's a very small asset class. Okay. I showed you Bitcoin compared to all the money in the world. I mean, we're literally just a speck of dust. I mean, we're barely even noticeable on the map. So long way to go. Definitely going to be a little bit bumpy ride. But that being said, you guys know I got my eyes set on the moon. I know where we're going. So yeah, this is just typical. This is what Bitcoin does. Nothing to freak out about. Honestly, it's just an opportunity to dollar cost average. That being said, I want to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting, you guys are the reason that I seriously do this every single day. Obviously, if you haven't got subscribed yet, definitely get subscribed. Also, be sure to turn on that bell notification. Freaking YouTube keeps turning it off on people. I don't know why. Yeah, so that's basically it for today. Also, you guys know any comment on any video makes you eligible for the ledger. And of course, thank you so much once again for using all of the referral links below. They definitely help support the channel. They allow me to continue to keep bringing you guys all of this free content. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back again. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.